This is an ancient Babylonian school tablet which details a praise poem for a powerful ancient Sumerian king. So this is known as the praise poem of Shulgi. Now Shulgi was the son of Ur-Nammu, and Ur-Nammu, who we mentioned in a previous video, was the founder of the Sumerian Renaissance, or the third dynasty of Ur. Now praise poems just like this were used as a pedagogical tool in the Babylonian school systems to teach Sumerian, which had died out as a spoken language by this point, and it was a series of 10 tablets known as the Decad. So these 10 tablets were used as a way of teaching the Sumerian language for intermediate students. In fact, it is in this very poem that the king Shulgi proclaims that he ran a distance from the city of Nippur to Ur and back in a single day. So, as we always do on this channel, we are going to choose one of the lines and translate it from Sumerian into English, and we're going to go for this line just here. So we have in Sumerian, Nirgal Dingur Kukura Men. So what we have here from left to right at the top is Nirgal, which essentially means to trust or to be respected. And then we have Dingir, which when it's rendered like this means God or deity. And then we have Kor Kor. So now this is interesting. So if you saw my previous video from the Inanna's descent, we mentioned that Kor can mean mountain or land. And now when it's duplicated like this, it can represent plurality. So Kor Kor would mean the mountains, or it can be further translated as the lands. And then we have Ra, which is the R auslaut. So if you notice in the word Kor at the end, there is an R, and then in the next sign, the Ra, the R is then duplicated. We call this the auslaut, which I believe comes from German, meaning final position. So the remaining A is representing the genitive case marker of. So with that in mind, we have Korkora, which would mean of the lands or of all the lands. And then finally we have Mayn or Main, which, as we've mentioned in previous videos, is the enclitic copula, essentially meaning I am, or it can also mean you are. So what denotes whether it's you are or I am essentially is context. So if we look at the rest of the poem, we can see it's basically talking in the first person and proclaiming how great Shulgi is. He says, I am this, I am that. You know, he's basically saying how great he is. So if we were to translate it more literally from left to right, we could say, trusted one, God of the lands, I am. Now if we were to further translate it into how we would speak in English, we could say something like, I am the respected one, the God of all the lands. So once again, we've translated an ancient 4,000-year-old Sumerian sentence from a Babylonian school tablet. As always, thank you so much for watching. Do comment what you want to see next, and enjoy the rest of your day.